I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin. What's going on, everybody out there in the internets? In the words of Amanda Seales, welcome to episode 3 of Insecure, season 4, Low Key Thankful. And I am very thankful to be on AfterBuzz TV today with 3 amazing folks to discuss Insecure. In my opinion, the best episode of the season. But before we get into that, let's meet everybody in our Zoom chat. I will, as always, throw it to our resident Lawrence Hive, Kenneth Ware.
Yes, what's up? Shout out to everybody on quarantine day number 9,304. This is the episode, one of the best episodes. It was a Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving. It had given me those good old hometown family vibes. But Issa and Molly are still, they not connected. They not seeing eye to eye. And Lawrence and Condola, we got a case for the ex. So it was a really good episode.
All right, Curvy Chick, the Curvy Chick, resident Curvy Chick. Say what's up to everybody out there.
Hey, it's your girl, Carla, Renata, the Curvy Critic. I enjoyed this episode for a variety of reasons. It's 2 months, they're doing the countdown with the block party situation. So now it's 2 months before the block party that we're seeing. And we're seeing some mess. We're seeing Issa and Molly's messiness continue in the grocery store. We're seeing some questionable things happening with Lawrence and Condola. And we also see everybody with their family. And it was really great to see Kelly doing her thing online via the phone and how everybody was checking everybody's feed when they were at their, respective families' houses. They were checking their friends' feeds to see what was going on. It was so apropos for what happens in real life. So I enjoyed that.
And Mia, what about you? Say hello to everybody and a quick update. What's going on with you?
Yeah, sure. What's up, everybody? It's Mia. I'm so excited to be here as always. And I, too, thought this was the best episode of Insecure so far this season. I'm going to go off of Carla. I love the Instagram story incorporation. I thought that was so innovative, so creative. It was this nice, fun, comedic touch. You know how much I love Kelly. I've talked about this. And the auntie's line kill me when she was like, how are you going to miss 3 flights in one day? I literally fell out. I was like, that's relatable. And then also, I found it fascinating to see into Lawrence and Condola's relationship. The tea, all right? That last moment had me going. And you know how I feel about Issa and Molly. I side with Issa mostly, but I don't know. She was being kind of sketchy in this. If she wants to talk to Molly, she should have done it. So there's lots to talk about. I'm excited.
Well, if you want to continue talking with us during this episode or after, we have a number of social media platforms, and Kenneth is actually tracking everything in case you guys want to hop into the live chat right now. Kenneth, let everybody know where they can find us during the live chat and how they can interact with us via social.
Yes, come out to the live chat. We're on YouTube right now. Everybody hop up in there. We're talking about this episode. We're talking about some of that good food, and we're talking about that pie.
Thank you so much.
Uneaten pie.
Thank you so much. And I love YouTube. Out of all the platforms we're on, I really love to go on YouTube. So I want to shout out some of the folks that just sent us nice comments last week. So if you guys will give me just a few seconds, I'd like to just shout them out. And I probably will butcher names, but again, I appreciate you guys coming out and supporting us. Ill2910, thank you so much for supporting. C. Watkins, thank you so much for supporting. My M, thank you so much. Fangal12. T. Berlon, thank you so much. Jamek, thank you so much. We really appreciate all of your guys' support. So if you have any kind of comments, we actually do read them on YouTube. I'm actually very interested to hear your guys' perspective, and I'll shout out anybody who points out something we missed, because we definitely missed a couple things, such as Lawrence's name is Martin Lawrence, not Lawrence Martin. And I messed that up last episode, I confess. So anywho, we'll get to a few more things later on this episode, but let's get into this episode. Episode 3, Low-Key Thankful. I'm low-key impressed. I'm so glad I didn't see any nasty chocolate booties, big chocolate booties from TSA Bay. I could have cried. So just first things first, anybody just want to jump out there, just gut reaction to the episode?
This is one of the things that I really peeped about this episode that struck me. Mia was saying how she likes the Instagram incorporation, right? So this is the thing. How far do you go with Instagram when you spying on your exes? Because it was like, Lawrence was by himself. He picked up that phone. Let me see what Issa's doing. And then he had the little smiley face reaction at the end. And in general, every time he saw her, his face kind of just lit up, right? And then I like that there was a series of different awkward moments. So the first awkward moment that we saw was that one with Issa, Lawrence, and Condola in that coffee shop, right? And Issa was there doing her work, watching her little show, and Condola looked at her like, looked at her like, I know you're not gonna stay here. She didn't say that, but she had that look on her face after all the pleasantries were exchanged. She had that look on her face like, you're not gonna stay here. And then they call out her food and they're like, such and such for Issa for here to stay. And she like grabbed her little tray and her little drink and kind of scooted out the door. That was hilarious. But it harkens back to the fact that with exes, are you really done? Are you ever really done? Are you going to stay friends? Are you going to try to hang out? Are you going to try to rekindle that flame? And I think that's where we are right now on Insecure.
So before I throw it to Mia and Kenneth, that's a great question, and I really appreciate you bringing that up. Not only are they communicating as exes, right, but they still follow each other on social media. I thought that was
Boom.
right. So Kenneth, from a guy's perspective, when you break up with somebody, is it okay to follow them on social media? Do you follow them on social media? And Mia, can you close it out with your response to Kenneth?
It's a wrap. It's done. Once it's over, it's over. And especially depending on how you end, but they are in that space and it's getting very, very, very bad. Like it's just brewing. And I want to also throw it back to one thing that nobody's really talking about is the fashion game on Insecure. They have all stepped their game up. Like the same way that these blogs and everything was talking about like Sex in the City or Girlfriends. Like I've been impressed this season. I was like, hold up now. Issa is giving me that thrift store chic. Lawrence is coming through. He's not a bum anymore. He's looking all fresh, and Molly is killing the game. She got that. She got a bag, so she's doing it up. But we're not talking about the fashion enough. But I noticed that last time. I was like, hold on, they sharp, especially Condola. She's killing it too. But yeah.
They're looking a lot better than most of us right now in quarantine.
Yes.
The truth.
Through the Insecure cast and their fashions and what they're able to do. But Mia,
Yes.
quick question. What is your take on following exes, communicating with exes via social media?
It's risky. Let me tell you, I was like this on my couch watching that scene. I said, he did not just click that reaction. He did not just wait. He was waiting for her response and she responded immediately. I could see on the other end literally seeing, well, here I go. I could not believe that. I was like, it's just one of those things where you take one step and you end up taking 500. Like once you go down that hole, you can't stop and you'll be liking things and sending like these little encrypted messages and it's messy. But honestly, from my perspective, you know how I feel like I'm Lawrence Hive too. And let me tell you, I'm not usually for people getting back together when one of them cheated. I think the trust is broken. It gets a little messy. But I don't know, with Issa and Lawrence, like I just feel like they've both grown. They're in a better place. And I'm for them getting back together. I never thought I'd say that. But I just think that spark is still there. And just like Carla was saying, she gave Issa that look like, you're really gonna stay here. Like for her to ask at the end of the episode, so would you still stay with Issa if she didn't do that? Something's still there. Like she's asking because she knows there's still a spark with them. And I just feel like Condola is kind of like, she's good for Lawrence, like higher level Lawrence. Like I think it was last episode that one of you said Issa walks so Condola could run. I thought that was so funny. And it's true. Like Issa's like the fun, like immature, silly side of Lawrence. And she made him into the man he is. And like, I think Ken said that last week. So I don't know. They're both good for him, but I just he likes it when he sees Issa, and that just makes me really happy. So
He really does. So we're going to get into that a little bit more. I want to go down the relationships that we saw transpire and evolve in this episode. We'll kind of start with the least intensity to the most intense. So let's talk about Issa and her brother and the cameo appearance of Wendy Raquel Robinson playing Issa's mom. Now, as much as I love this show, before I give my take, I did not love Wendy Raquel as the mom. I love the cameos that we get in Insecure, but Wendy Raquel just wasn't a good fit for that, but that's just me. But we see Issa and her brother connect on Thanksgiving to go spend time with their mom and their stepfather or mom's boyfriend, something like that. His name is Stanley. And it falls short because Stanley slips on some gravy in the kitchen. But Issa and her brother, Ahmal, were actually able to sit down and have a nice one-on-one dinner at a Mexican restaurant and really just hash some things out. And to me, had the most vulnerable and open conversation I've ever seen them have. Anybody want to just take a stab at digging into that a little bit more?
It was really great to see that brother sister relationship out here in LA, especially on Thanksgiving, where everybody is, they have their family here. And although they didn't spend time with their family because Stanley, fell on that gravy and they weren't checking for the adult twins. Um, they weren't checking for them. So they had a non traditional Thanksgiving, but it was the two of them. And it was just so good to see that relationship because the brother Ahmal, he gets those little moments throughout the season, but this time he was really there for his sister. And I mean, they talked about everything from his homosexuality and just how people reacted to him at the last Thanksgiving when he brought somebody over, and their just hangups with the relationship. So it was really good to see them together having fun. And dun 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 dun, that's where they had that infamous snap. That was fun with the mariachi band. And yeah, that led up to Lawrence wanting to hit that like button. But it was really good to see Issa and her brother interact throughout the entire episode, although she was dodging her other issues.
Definitely dodging her other issues. But I like the fact that Amal kind of pulled some of that vulnerability out of her because he reminded her, you were with Lawrence for 5 years, right? And then you see him at a restaurant and you act like you're okay. Like, I'm your brother. You have to remember, as annoying as Amal is to me in some regards, that's still her little brother. He still has watched her from youth until now. He knows every little nuance about Issa. He knows that there's still something there that she's not going to just come out and say. So I love that. But Mia, I'll let you to continue that on.
Yeah, so I think from a writing perspective, it's this scene with them in the Mexican restaurant is honestly super interesting because I think his character really served juxtaposed next to Molly as an outlet for Issa. Like you see a genuine conversation, a genuine relationship that's emotional and open and judgment free. And then with Molly, it's like she's all in the grocery store jumping on each other. Like, what's really going on? Like, why are you rude to me? And he just really gave her the space to say what she needed to say and didn't judge her. And I love what he said at the end. I think he said, you have a right to feel how you truly feel, which is true. Like you said, they were together for 5 years. That's a long time. So I think she does have a right to feel how she feels. And I was glad that she actually said it to him, that she's like, it kind of bothers me a little bit. Whereas to Molly, she was like, no, girl, I'm good. I was like, so how do you really feel?
Yeah.
Or are you not just telling Molly because you're scared she'll just shut you down? So
Technically, the last thing Amal said to Issa was, I hate you, before he got out of the car, which I love that. It's like, yeah, I love you, but I hate your ass. Kirby Critic, what's up with you? What did you feel about Amal and Issa during that scene? I thought it was really awesome, but feel free to disagree.
I have a little brother, so I could totally relate to that scene because that's how me and my little brother are. Like, he'll say something dumb, and I'm just like, "Shut up, I hate you." And I don't literally hate him, but that's just how we communicate. It's like us showing our undercover love for each other. But one of the things that was said in the midst of that conversation was when she was talking about how it bothered her that, yeah, they were together for 5 years, her and Lawrence, but it bothered her that she felt like Condola was reaping the rewards of what she had built up. Like, she built the brother up, and now some other chick is reaping the rewards. And that's real. Like, I've been in some situations, I've dated some people where the person that was with me at the time, needed a little help. And so I helped the brother, and then we broke up. And then the person after me reaped the benefits and married that person. So I was like, yo, for real though? It's like that? So yeah, right, exactly. So I kind of get where Issa is with that. It's a funky situation to be in because you're trying to keep things civil by not acting out, but when stuff like that happens, it's real hard for you to kind of like keep your wits about you. You know what I mean?
No, I definitely understand what you're talking about. Now, I'm going to just preface for the rest of the episode. We try to keep this around 30 minutes, but there was a lot to unpack in this episode. So if we go a little bit longer, you guys, you get to look at our faces for a few extra minutes. But there's a lot to unpack. I want to move on from Issa and her brother. You guys are so cute. Issa and her brother to Lawrence and Condola. So we open up seeing them at her home, and they're spending the night together, and they wake up and they're having a nice conversation. And the topic of Thanksgiving comes up. I'm just going to give my initial. Why was this the first time you guys are talking about Thanksgiving? If this is the first time you're talking about Thanksgiving, why even bring it up? But that's just me. I'm going to throw it back to our curvy critic, and then we'll go around the horn.
Yeah, that was that was shady boots. Because if a major holiday like Thanksgiving is rolling around and y'all ain't had a discussion as to whether or not your boo is gonna come, and then he gotta confront you about it, that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign at all. That he gotta go. So you were gonna invite me, and she was like, I love when she was like, "Well, to be fair, I didn't really invite you. You invited yourself." I was like, "Oh."
Truth.
So there was that. There was that. Yeah. It was that was,
Yeah,
and
see
then it was her friends. Yeah, go ahead.
So,
no, so he definitely invited himself.
yeah, as our resident guy in the group, if as a guy, like, do guys typically ask to spend the holidays with their new girlfriends and whatnot? Because I feel like there's always that apprehension, like, I want to, I don't want to, I'm not sure. As a guy, how realistic was that scene?
I would say that it's too early on for them because right now we're probably at what 2-3 months in the relationship.
Okay.
And Lawrence, like this is what I will say. I'll put a flag on the play for Lawrence because he did invite himself. She did not invite him. And yeah, like it was just like, hey, you set yourself up for that one. And even when he said something, just like, okay, well, y'all both don't have family here, so it was a nice gesture. I was kind of worried. I'm like, well, is Issa gonna be there? Because they are buddy bestie. So the whole time I'm thinking like, now is Issa gonna be at this Thanksgiving? Because that's too much. That's too much going on. So I was glad that it wasn't. But overall, I think Lawrence did a good job of playing that boyfriend role in front of the friends. He was interactive, and he's gold star for Lawrence playing the boyfriend role at Thanksgiving. But it got sticky, and Miss Nikki, she was being messy on that alcohol, and he learned a few things about Condola, and then they just went head to head at the end, and I was like, oh wow, this is getting like real Tyler Perry-ish, like it's getting messy. So yeah, but he invited himself, so.
He definitely invited himself. But one thing I'm curious about, so Condola was married before. She had a really nice house. Did she get the house in the divorce? Because that is a really nice house for somebody in their early 30s. I mean, I'm just saying. There are a lot of
I
people
was thinking that too. I was like,
divorce.
Did you hear when she say when the plumber came over and she was like, he saw that I had a real faucet? I was like, okay, Condola, flex on the plumber. All right.
Okay. We don't boss. All we have to do is put our hands up under it. It's that new mowing. But let's get to the actual Thanksgiving dinner that they had. Now, her name is escaping me right now, but she's the creator of a Black Lady sketch show on HBO.
Robin Thede, our girl.
Is it Robin Thede? Yeah, she was great. Robin Thede killed that scene for me. I loved her drunken commentary. She was totally just hilarious. I loved her nickname for the French dude. She called him Raspberry Beret. That one had me on the floor. But let's just talk about etiquette, right? A wise man once said, a drunk man tells no lies. She's, pretty intoxicated at this point. She goes into the kitchen, discloses some things to Lawrence that makes his ears kind of pop up. Now, of course, Condola can say, well, she was drunk. She's just talking. But a drunk man, again, never tells a lie. What did you guys think about her disclosing that? And would you invite her to another gathering knowing she took her drunk ass in there and spilled the tea?
I take that one. I wouldn't invite her ass to another one of my gatherings. She was doing the most with a capital THEMOST. I was like, no, girl, no. Like, what are you doing? Let me flip back real fast and just give Lawrence a shout out for looking up plumbing for players on YouTube when he went to fix that sink. That made me holler out loud. But yeah, homegirl was messy AF. Oh my goodness, she was doing a lot. But why is it whenever someone has a gathering like that and you don't really think out the crew that you invite, and there's always that one person? There's always one. There's always that one that spills some tea that you don't want falling on the floor. I'm just saying.
Uh, yeah. What tea did you like or dislike from Robin Thede character?
Everything she said. It was just great. I mean, and this is the thing too, is I think based on Condola's reaction when Lawrence brought it up at the end, I don't think it's one of those situations. Like there's those situations where, I'll tell my girl something, and then if she goes and says it to the guy or says it to another friend, I'm sitting there like, oop, I got caught. Like that's something I did say. But then there's other times where you're like Condola seemed taken off guard. She was like, what did she say? So I think it might have been her, like Robin Thede's character, projecting it. And I don't know if it was an actual reality. Like I think there's some truth to it, but I don't think he's a casual hookup. Like I think she's kind of taking it slow, but I don't think Lawrence is just there as like a hit it and quit it. So um I thought the bigger problem was like with the X thing that got brought up. Like that was just a doorway into a whole nother conversation, which was the real thing. Because people say when you're mad about something, it's really not about that thing. It's about something else. And I think they needed to have that X conversation. So a mess. I love it. I live for it.
Mia, I want to just address something you just brought up. Is it a hit and quit it, F buddy situation? Maybe, maybe not. But she did mention during Thanksgiving, Condola, that she wasn't interested in necessarily getting married again. You know what they say, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. It sounds like she's not really interested in that. Now, Kenneth Ware, as a guy, you hear that. Are you running for the hills, or is it like free and clear booty?
If I'm not looking for a marriage at the time, I think it's just it was the divorce is what, a year she's had, since she's been divorced, year and a half. Okay. And then it's like, we really haven't talked about, that situation. And this is fresh with Lawrence. This isn't somebody she's been dating for a year or even 6 months. Like this is still fresh. I don't think it's a hit it and quit it because so he's hitting it and not quitting it yet. It's a lot of hitting it going on. I think she really cares for him and they're getting to know each other and they're building this relationship. But as they continue to elevate, they're seeing these roadblocks. And the first one was Issa, like, you're working with my ex that I was together with for 5 years. So that is just sticky right there. And I don't think Lawrence right now is looking for like, oh, I want to get married within the next 6 months. Like he's still trying to get himself settled in his career. However, if he is thinking long term, like, okay, within the next 3 to 5 years, I do want to be married. And if Condola is someone like, you know what, I'm not even messing with, I don't want another husband. That could be that. So if that's the case, then you know what? You might need to chunk deuce and just go and holler back at Issa because that's what we want. I'm with Mia. Like I'm for
You're
Issa
for
and
it.
Lawrence getting back together. When I saw he sent the message and the three dots, I was like, okay, 3 dots. Yes, what's she gonna say? So I'm here for it. But yeah.
I will say, I think they're just taking it slow. Like, I think what Condola was saying was more of a like, I'm not looking for that right now. Like, that's not happening right now. And Lawrence doesn't, like you said, doesn't want to get married right now, but he just wants to see that it's going somewhere. And so I think they're in an in between. Like, I don't think it's necessarily a hookup, but they're also not like long term serious right now. So we'll
Now,
see where it goes.
projections and predictions right now, but I will say I'll be interested to see what plays out because Lawrence's job may or may not be secure right now. We don't know. He was having a conversation with his homeboy about that, and his job is so kind of up in the air that it's around the industry. When they were at Thanksgiving dinner, one of Condola's friends even heard about Meridian being on the outs and having some financial issues. So will that make Condola think twice about getting too involved with him? We'll see. We know Issa would hold him down, but will Condola hold him down? That'll be something interesting to watch if that actually plays out. But up next, I do want to hop to our next relationship review, and that is Issa and Molly. Now, I will say this. As awkward as like Zoom calls are and video conferences, watching that scene of them in the grocery store was pretty dang awkward. But there are a couple of things I want to point out that they said during that time in the grocery store. Issa said she felt like this had been brewing for a couple of months. If you feel like it from day one, why don't you say something, right? And Molly said, I feel like you're coming for me. Now, in my opinion, hurt people, right? So, how do we end this cycle of hurt? Because it seems like number one, it's been going on for a while. And number two, there's really no end to the cycle unless, in my opinion, they take some time apart. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to get your guys' feedback on that grocery store interaction and anything that jumped out to you.
The thing
That
that jumped,
they
go
Go ahead.
ahead.
now, ladies first. Go ahead.
The thing that I'll be brief. The thing that jumped out to me the most is when you have a situation like that with your friend where it's awkward and every time you say something you feel like you're being attacked and vice versa. I don't it, it's really hard to come back from that. It's really hard to come back from that because what's going to happen is somebody is going to end up getting hurt and maybe they do need to take some time apart and assess what each one of them did to bring them to that place. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, they're either going to have to learn to accept each other where they are in this moment in life and in that friendship, or they're going to have to bounce.
Yeah, it just wasn't a good look in the grocery store. First, it was very, Issa gave that kind of bad advice about Andrew, like telling her, like, you know what, oh girl, you turning back into the old Molly, you're gonna scare him away. So I like skipping forward to her having a conversation with her mom, letting her mom let her know, like, you know what, Andrew would have been good here. Like you make those decisions for yourself. And then back though, when Molly in the grocery store told Issa when she was being shady, talking about how you were with the TSA guy for what, drugs and for something else, toiletries or whatever she said.
Weed.
I'm like, whoa, like that was shady boots. That was like, So, but there hurt people, and I think until they have that conversation, which now it's looking like they're not going to talk until the season finale because they just find places and like we're just not going to connect. So it's just a continuation of them communicating without communicating.
Now, let me just, before we kick it to Mia, they may not talk until St. Patrick's Day because they were supposed to talk on Thanksgiving and that didn't happen. And frankly, they just need some time apart. So St. Patty's Day, have a couple beers and hash it out. But Mia, what are your thoughts?
I would love to know their signs, like the way they communicate and fight. I feel like Issa's like an Aquarius or a Libra or something, and Molly's like a Virgo Scorpio. Because the way, like, Issa is like sometimes passive aggressive, and Molly will just cut right to it. Like you said, Ken, like the way she cut, it's that, I'm not out here having sex for like weed and toiletries. I was like, girl, you just went too far. Like that's something like you say in a fight or something. Like I don't know. So that was a little sketchy to me. But I mean, Molly was right at first. I think Issa needs to stop acting like it's okay. But that just set her off. It's like Molly says these things, and it's not what she wants to hear, or she can't take what she puts out. And I think that's a problem. Like she needs to be able to communicate what she thinks to Issa and not be able to take that criticism back. So I think that's a big thing there. But I'm glad that they were like, wait, we've been off. Like, what's going on here? Let's talk about that. Because I think it's good to address these things in a friendship. Like, friendships need tune ups, They need a good oiling sometimes. You got to communicate how you're feeling. But I don't know. All I know is I was thinking in the moment when they're like, let's talk Thanksgiving. I was like, why Thanksgiving? Like, that's not going to happen. I was like, you think this was really going to happen?
Why Thanksgiving? Why on Thanksgiving would you guys have a conversation that deep? I mean,
Yeah.
it's been brewing for a couple of months. It's kind of like, okay, we need to really set aside some dedicated time where we can be relaxed and in a good setting. Thanksgiving definitely was not the time for that. The other thing that I would like to just bring up, because we don't have time to go into all of their details, but I do want to do an honorable mention going back to the Instagram live stories. Love to see Kelly. And I love to see the Dubois family and their bundle of joy on the way and everything, and their gobble gobble of the D. I thought that was really awesome. But let's just take a really quick break because we're in the spirit of Thanksgiving. Just real quick round robin. What are you guys thankful for right now during quarantine?
I am thankful to be eating, to have a refrigerator full of food. I'm able to cook. There's a lot of people out there that unfortunately, aren't as blessed to have that, So I'm just thankful for the smallest things of just being able to eat and cook at home.
I'm grateful that that I'm not quarantined alone and that my mother is here. And if I have to wrap her up in some bubble wrap and put a mask over her eyeballs, her hair, and her face, then that's what's just gonna have to happen. But I'm really grateful for that.
I would say I'm just super grateful for the time to just slow down. I just feel like so much of life, like I know we all had a lot of travel plans this summer and we wanted to, go out with our friends and stuff, but I just think this is kind of our chance to reset and get in alignment with ourselves. And so many people I feel like are kind of talking about how they're unproductive, but as a busybody myself, I've just been finding this is a time to lean in. Like when I'm feeling unproductive, I go in. I'll binge a show. I'll do whatever I need to do. I'll deep clean until I feel like being productive again because this is the only time for a while I think we'll be able to do that. So if you're blessed enough to be home, thank you to all our essential workers, our medical workers, cashiers, like everybody who's out there. Thank you. But if you are able to stay home, I think we should be taking advantage of it. Just chill out.
Exactly. And I'm thankful for Zoom because we can have a conversation. Mind you, real quick fun fact, I've never met my three co-hosts. We have never met in real life.
Wow, it's true.
Via, an online portal. We have never met. So I am very thankful to have met you guys. And hopefully we can get out of this quarantine and shelter in place and we can actually go out for a drink. But let's move on to the topic of the night. And I think this requires a little bit of digging here. Issa and Lawrence, it ain't over. It's not over. It's far from over. A couple of things that I want to point out that makes me believe that it's not over. When Lauren showed up at the restaurant and Issa was there doing her work and whatnot, waiting on her meatball sandwich that she swears is to go, but it's not. They had a banter, this like friendly banter that you don't see from Lawrence and Condola. I don't see that at all. You know what I mean? And somebody mentioned it earlier, I can't remember right now, but there is a playfulness about Issa and Lawrence that you just haven't seen with anybody else that Lawrence is dating. Now, Lawrence is definitely cognizant of the fact that, hey, I need to be on top of my game with fashion, with that very nice shirt. I need to hold down a good job. I need to do things. I need to fix sinks. I need to make myself an asset to a woman. But that X factor of chemistry, I haven't seen it the way I see it with Lawrence and Issa, even to this day when they're technically broken up. I'm going to start with Mia. Mia, kind of give me your feedback about what you're seeing with Lawrence and Issa right now.
Yeah, so I was saying it earlier, but like you guys said last week, Issa walks so Condola could run. And I just feel like Issa and him are so suited for each other and they've grown so much, but I feel like they're both at a place where like they're able to separate from each other, but at the same time, there's still that connection. And I think they both feel it. And I've said it before too, Condola knows that. Like that's why she came up like, skirt, what's going on? Hey guys, how's it going? What's happening here? Like, cause you can see chemistry, you can feel it. So I just think Issa brings out something in Lawrence that Condola doesn't. Period, poo.
Period. Pooh. Anybody else?
It's 5 years. They were together 5 years compared to this 2-3 month relationship. So it's definitely going to be different. Condola is definitely feeling that chemistry. I mean, you see it. You see it everywhere with them. I mean, it's those moments where you're just reminded of like, oh, what could have been. And they're playing with fire. I can't wait to see what just happens next episode.
Yeah, I mean, the nerds connect. I mean, the playfulness that they were doing, they were joking about movie titles. They were throwing movie titles back and forth. Only nerds do that. I know because I'm one of them. So only nerds do that kind of stuff. So, we'll see. We'll see what goes down.
I mean, yeah, we'll definitely see what goes down. I think it's interesting right now to see two people that are dealing with, the effects of a breakup and the effects of cheating. And I don't want to go so far as to say infidelity because they weren't married. Technically, I think infidelity is if you're married. But we see this explored with Molly and her parents, right? So Molly during Thanksgiving had some tension with her father. If you guys don't remember, Molly discovered in a previous season that her dad had cheated on her mom, and she had all this resentment because she thinks her dad's this perfect guy. And I think it's funny that your best friend cheated on her, significant other, and she's not a bad person. She deserves, in my opinion, a second chance if Lawrence wants her to, wants her again. I think it's interesting that we see both sides of it, right? Because Condola brought up a very interesting point while they were in her kitchen after Thanksgiving. You guys broke up because of her cheating. That is a transaction. It's not like, oh, we just kind of grew apart. We hear that a lot. Oh, we grew apart. We grew apart. No, this was like a point of sale. You cheated, so I leave. But as we have seen with even Molly's parents, you can come back together after cheating. And hopefully Molly will be able to give some insight to Issa to help them come back together. Because in my opinion, this is the third episode. I really liked it, right? We're in 4 seasons of Insecure. I cannot go 6 seasons, 5, 6, 7 seasons of this like around the cart with Issa and Lawrence. Either, to my point earlier, either Lawrence needs to gotta poop or get off the pot, because this is getting out of control, out of control. So I do want to break up the monotony a little bit. Mia has our special segment, and I do want to kick it to Mia so we can have some fun with our special segment.
All right, so I knew we had a lot to unpack this week, so I just have one question for us. We're going to play low key, high key. So this game kind of follows the titling of the show this season, and we're going to take a situation discussed on the show on this episode and talk about it amongst ourselves. So Molly and Issa were kind of debating over this, and clearly we saw Molly's mom say, you got to make a decision for yourself, but bringing a new bae who you've been seeing maybe 2 months to Thanksgiving. Low key, it's fine, or high key, nah, like that is way too soon. What do you guys think?
I will say, that's a hard one because it just depends on the person. But I will say it's in the situation with Molly and Andrew. He seems like a pretty good guy. It would have been cool to bring him around the family, so it's okay. Low key cool.
I think not. I'm gonna agree to disagree. But I will agree with the fact that it depends on the person. I feel like, you got to feel people out and realize that once you bring folk around your family, then you got to hear, where's Andrew? How come you didn't bring Andrew? Are you still talking to Andrew? What's going on? Are y'all getting married? I can't. So no.
Now, I think Andrew would have been a definite upgrade and would have brought a lot of intellectual support to their household, because Issa or Molly's brothers just are dating some really dumbass broads. And I'm sorry, I just got dumb.
Go off, sis.
Strike me as very smart. And I don't think they struck Molly's mom as very smart either. But anywho, the one thing I will say about why I don't think it would have been a cool thing for Andrew to go to Thanksgiving, number one, do you guys remember when Jadena was on a guest starring on Insecure, and she invited him to some, office party way too soon? Molly has a habit of doing that. I will agree, she has a habit of doing that. But just for like continuity points, right? Last episode, they kind of had a banter that wasn't the best. And at the end of the episode, they came to an agreement like, okay, Andrew knows he's being a little standoffish. He wants to be exclusive. He's going to do better. Well, they haven't had a conversation since then. So I don't know how they would have ended up with him being at Thanksgiving. But just let's say everything's on the up and up. I still say within 3 months, nah, you're not coming to my family's house. Absolutely not. No.
I just think you have to know it's serious. You just have to know it's going somewhere. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be locked down, engaged, but you have to see a future with that person, and then you have to talk to them about it. So if anyone asks you questions, if your mom's like, so what are your intentions with my daughter? Then you can say it and you're both on the same page and there's no surprises, which I don't think Molly and Andrew would have been ready for. So in that case, absolutely not.
Curveball for Mia and the rest of the group. If anybody wants to jump in, we don't have to go around the horn, but if anybody has a reaction to this, how soon is it, or excuse me, if you haven't introduced them to your parents at all, they don't know like who this person is or anything, is Thanksgiving even the right time?
Thanksgiving is a perfect time because everybody's there. Everybody's there. So you'll not only be getting the opinions of your parents, but your cousins, your sister, your brother, whoever else you might be close to. You'll get opinions and you'll be able to see how they navigate in your world. Because if this person is going to be someone that's going to be around for a long, long time, like Mia said, not necessarily to marry them or, put a ring on or any of that. But if this is somebody that you're going to spend a significant amount of time with, you need to know that they're going to be comfortable around your crew. Because if they're not, it just makes it awkward for everybody, including you.
Fair. I will say this. Again, they hadn't had a conversation since last episode, so why would he be there? Number two, this is just my opinion. If you don't have a good relationship with your father and he's alive and he's living with your mom and they're in the same house, why would you bring some guy around? You gotta work on relationship number one with your dad before you're bringing some other guy in, right? So I think it would have just been, I wouldn't have done it. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to cast judgment. That's just not something I would do. If my dad and I weren't cool and we were having some issues, why would I bring some guy to my house? That just doesn't even make sense. So I'm glad she didn't bring it. Big ups to the writers for having some common sense there. But I do want to throw it to our curvy critic because you have all.
Well, one thing.
Go ahead, Kenneth Ware. Go ahead.
Shout out to Candace Rushing, who did mention that in the live chat that Molly did tell Issa that they were exclusive now when they were in the grocery store. So they've obviously had some type of conversation, or there's something going on between her and Andrew, but she did tell Issa that they were exclusive. So it's just not some little, just give Andrew a little something, something.
Well, okay, cool. But talk to your daddy first, before you. No, my daddy wouldn't go for that. But forgive me, curvy critic, aka Carla Renata. What's going on in the world of Insecure?
Well, let me tell you. Well, as usual, you can always get the all the music that we hear on Insecure. You can always get it every week for every episode on Spotify. They do those wind downs with Princess Penny, the executive producer, and Issa Rae every week after each episode. This week they did it with Condola, and so they had the same conversation that we're having here about Issa and Lawrence passing jokes, and is it possible to be a friend with your ex? And Condola said it's probable, but not possible. So just want to throw that in there. There is a game that's about to be released based on Insecure. It's going to be set and released later on this year. It's created by Glow Up Games, and it's going to feature several moments that are our favorites of the show, like Issa standing in the mirror and talking to herself. And they're going to have characters like her best friends, Kelly, Molly, Tiffany, and stuff like that. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Issa tweeted about something called the Culture app, which is where Black people create. She said that Black people create culture and drive trends. Our data is valuable. So what the Culture app does is it allows us to take our data that we're putting out onto the internet via Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, and get paid for it. So it's Culture Capital. That's that. And it's an app that allows you to create a license so that you own your data to get paid. So that is it for the world of Insecure and some news, but it was fun.
So I have some news. I just read it on the YBF. Shout out to the Young Black and Fabulous. I do believe they said that Issa's new movie, The Lovebirds, will be on Netflix in a couple of weeks. I think early May. So make sure you guys.
Yeah, I said that last week, girl. Remember?
Oh, I've had.
That's all right. That's all right. I got you.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta remind me. So before we get out of here, I do want to get to predictions. Can I get some music?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, Mia, I'm gonna let you start with the predictions. Go.
Sometimes I let my predictions and my desires just mesh together. So, I mean, Issa and Lawrence, are we going to see another interaction with them? I don't know. I want to see it. So that's what I'm going to put out into this universe, this TV universe. Go with that.
Gotcha. Carla?
I'm thinking since with 2 months out the last time, I feel like we're going to get right into the heart of the matter, and we're going to finally find out what's going to happen with Issa and Molly and that friendship. Are they going to be cool, or is it going to be all guns a-blazing?
It goes down in the DM. That's what's going to happen. That next message is going to be an eggplant from Lawrence. And then that next message after that is going to be Issa saying, pull up. That's what it's going to be. It's going down in the DM. Not why is everybody? That's what's happening. That's what I'm feeling is happening. Molly and Andrew, they're going to continue to progress in their relationship. And then Molly and Issa, they're still going to miss each other. So, but that's what's happening. It's going down in the DM.
Well, I just hope they wear a condom because last time Lawrence and Issa hooked up, they surely did not. And I was a little concerned. But my prediction.
5 years. 5 years.
I don't care. You got to teach the people as you're entertaining them. Wrap it up, damn it. But my prediction is, this is way down the line. I've said this before. The Dubois couple and their family, they're actually going to divorce. I do think that's going to happen because they are too perfect on social media. And you know how I feel about too perfect on social media. Anyways, I'm going to stay perfect as I can on social media, which ain't much between now and next week. And you can find me at McCall Hall of Fame. Where can they find the rest of you guys? Kenneth?
You can find me on all digital platforms. Kenneth Ware. Holla at me.
Carla,
guys-
where can they find you?
You can find me across all social media platforms at The Curvy Critic at 5 o'clock on Sundays over at Black Hollywood Live doing The Curvy Critic with Carla Renata, and right back at AfterBuzz TV on Sunday nights at 6 for the General Hospital After Show.
And Mia, close us out.
Y'all can find me on Twitter at Hot Mess Mia. It's a hot mess as always, and on Instagram at yours truly Mia. And I'm also on the Killing Eve after show, so you can catch me there too.
There you go. So you guys can find us everywhere. And of course, you can find us at AfterBuzz TV across all platforms. Again, please like, comment, subscribe, write us tons of tweets and emails and everything. We do read them, good, bad, and ugly. So we appreciate the support, and we'll see you guys next week.
Into AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first. Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
That was beautiful. I love
So-
it.
Oh, there's Bree.
Bree, you're
I-
muted.
He muted. We can't hear. There you are.
Oh yeah.
for that.
Did I do it last week? I can't remember. No, that was Killing Eve. I can do it this week.
It was, yeah.
Okay, I'll do it right now. I mesh my shows together sometimes. I'm like, what do I do?
Bree,
Okay, yeah, I did.
what has drops? What? Okay. I hate Kanye,
Sure
but
thing.
I'll write something negative about Kanye because I don't like Kanye.
Kanye's crazy.
Man, fuck Kanye West. Shit. Thanks, Bree.
All right. See y'all next week.
Bye. See you guys.